Hello and welcome. The National Poet Laureate Hub proudly presents our Heritage Day video presentation. For Heritage Month, we wish to build upon what we started in the Hub during the month of August, Women's Month. In Women's Month, we focused on what it was to be a woman and the importance of such a role. But moving into September, Heritage Month, we wanted to look closer at the family and the heritage within it, closely focusing on the African family. Please enjoy the content we have provided. It is very informative and help us grow going forward. We wish to have more debates and discussions like this in future and keep growing the concept. On the 4th of September 2020, two representatives from the National Poet Laureate Hub and two artists met up at Freedom Park, South Africa, Pretoria. Freedom Park has to be one of South Africa's greatest treasures, especially to us, the youth. The plan for the day was to travel through Freedom Park and have a look at the monument that was created to remember the South Africans that inhabit this country. Freedom Park is a spiritual hub and a place of understanding that all South Africans should strive to understand and visit. The National Poet Laureate Hub felt it a good idea to interact with artists at this venue. A very big thank you to Freedom Park for allowing us to use the venue.
Sepetše ngwagola ka lapeng o ka re moša wa ka baebeleng ke fetša bophelo bja ka mo tseleng wena le mo mokeleng everything e laolwa ke šheleng a gona dinaledi ke mabone fela naga ya fela ga go sana le ngwedi ge boarra ba nweletše pedi ba hloriša difemedi tša bona. Every African man would be a king. Nobody better trick a thing, and all we can do is sing. But it's in a school or would call Spanish. I base my life on having fun, and I am not sorry. But sometimes I see one phonella. I revoy a billy girotsanella, and to melazada yawana mela. Tiele jumfana mamela saluto wa feta khane o boyende umma ba ubija sale ufuna nini bana mpujisha ane uboye nini itsota re ufisa boya every day. I pray for someone who can understand me in my complicated ways and wake me when I've been chasing dreams for too long. Something I can write a song for. I'll sing it with the breath of my lungs for 100,000 people. I've been looking for love all my life. Always told myself, boy, do it right. You gotta find someone who won't mind at all to make that call. Aresalo tlora be ka feta gane o boyane mama wa go bija sale o phone neng bana bambujisha gane o boyane tlo thaba re o fitla boya.
Around a fire sits a century worth of tales, stories that walked this land and watered its trees. We come from these histories. You and I branched out of this soil to touch the sky. Your hands can mine more than gold. You bedazzle stones. Stars mimic you when they shine. Around a fire, a century breaks free to save its daughters from flames and its sons from the matches. To put skin back to bone, bone back to blood, blood back to body. No more burning until peace is as simple as stillness. Around a fire, Gogo calls us by name, calls us by our spirit, calls us to dance, calls us to sing, summons a lineage of ancestry to come and see that their children are still here, alive and majestic. Gogo calls our blood by name. Umalishoni lang, zoqale lethu, ngamalahle, ngezinkunyi nangomlilo. Umalishona libomvu ezantsi, lisithele ezintabeni zoqale lethu, elivutha ubusuku bonke. Ubumnyama buzozithoba, lo mhlaba uzofunda ukuthi nezinkanyezi ziyakhula otshanini. Phakathi kwamabili, umhlabathi uzokhanya njengesibhakabhaka. Izimpisi nezinyamazana ezoswela ugodi losithelo. Inkantolo ivikela amabhubesi. Biza lamadoda izilwane, isigwebo sabo sibalindile. Biza namadoda angenacala, isigwebo sabo sibalindile. Thula kwabo kuyicala. Ngendlela bavala amehlo, bafihla izindlebe, bagoba amakhanda ngayo kuyicala. Biza umongameli, inkosi, umphathi sitolo. Sizophawula ukuthi lesihlalo asinagazi. Lo mphakathi uzobhidlizwa iqiniso elingaziwa. Amanga ayawugqilaza umphefumulo. Ungalifihla lamampela kodwa uzothi uma uzama ukukhuluma uvela ukhonkothe. Uhambe njengenja. Sikhumba sakho semvu siwele ethuneni. Ulindeni ungakhulumi. Ulinde ithuna elinegama olaziyo. Ulinde kufe bani. Konke okulahlekile kuzobuya. Bonke abalahlekile bazobuya. Zolotha lelanga izinhlungu zishe, izinhlungu zibe yitshe. Ubumnyama obunyonyo bayo buzonyezela lo mhlabathi uzokhanya njengesibhakabhaka. Sizofika la usifihla khona. Like I think about like the African family structure. I think about like in my own family how my paternal grandmother, grew up in Mamelodi, spent like her late teen years and the rest of her life in Mamelodi, and my maternal grandmother in Tembisa, and that like those two places are townships, so there isn't that much richness of our culture and our traditions. And I like when I look back I can see how much we've lost from that, just as Ndebele people and as Tsonga people as well. Sometimes I'll like need help with information, maybe to include in a piece, or to for a performance, or just I want to know where we come from, and I'll have to ask, or ask my grandmother, and she will not know, and she'll say ask this uncle, and it's just like it becomes hard to access that kind of information. And I feel like growing up in the township takes away so much from the culture. And yeah, we must find ways to like bring our traditions and our culture, especially the ones that we value.
Do you think that without colonialism we'll still have our full richness of culture?
I think it was going to evolve. It was gonna change. Some of the traditions, they were gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
But I also think it wouldn't have happened in such a fast, like it happened so fast right now.
Honestly, it was taken away from us more than evolved. Like it was literally just taken away.
Yeah. So.
See, thing about I was raised by women. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a house of women where it was my mom, my sister, my aunt, my grandma. Actually become normalized in South Africa that fathers just disappear.
It hurts.
Maybe it has to do with the fact that back pre-colonialization, long word for such a horrible thing. Before colonization, it was always mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Like they had that full richness where that Malume is there, that Nkhono, Ramogolo, they're there, that stuff. But now it's sort of it's a surprise when someone has a father. And I feel like we should work on getting that back, but also we should work on just working with what we have, teach kids what we already know. Because
I feel like even like today, it's no longer about responsibility. Like, okay, I have to go and fend for my family. So then like the men just sort of took this role as a provider, like, and then just because they are providing, they don't have to be present in their kids' life. It's sort of like have become that kind of setting where you must make money so that your family can eat, so that you can take care of your family. But then like now when I look at it now, look at young people, how they are building their own families right now.
Something I've learned also, and I think it also always comes back to the fact of the injustice done upon black people that has become normal, is that the man in this day and age, his importance is only seen through what he can provide in some families. I've learned that the man, the emotional strain, the spiritual strain put on a man isn't really focused on, like, it's nothing. A man can never be loved unconditionally after he grows up unless he can provide something. And that is something I've never really understood.
Like in the economic climate of South Africa, most young men are gonna live at home until like they're above 30, because of like how the economic structure is set up. It's very exclusive. Only a few young black people can access it and be able to sustain themselves. Solutions, ne? I feel like one of the things that is one of the things that are lacking is communication. Like, we don't know how to talk about finances in a healthy way in our family structures.
I think I've noticed that too.
And like, let's say, okay, if the issue is this black man can't provide, or this black man only provides, how do we have a conversation around him doing more in the household, like helping with the chores or something, helping with the kids' homework? How do we change? Like, how do we look at those roles as well? Because I feel like if then the man's role is only just providing, taking care of the family, then if he can't do that, obviously he will feel ashamed and useless.
But I think it also comes back to like what we were taught culturally, like ka speed ona le go shetse ngwe tsa manyalo ba re mosadi ke le fotwana wa selelwa. Lefatwana is a little bird. As a little bird that the females doesn't really go out to fend for food. The male comes back with the food to the, So I think we were taught to only be providers, to be primarily providers as men in culture, and providers, protectors, and just a pillar of the house, the head of the house. So we have a sense of entitlement to the women that we're with at some point and stuff like that. So I think it's just a matter of communication, like you say, and just opening up.
But it's just knowing how we have these conversations, because now we are here, we are having this conversation, but how do you take this language that is so dense, that is so English, and then you bring it into your home and you're like, okay, this is... How do you take these ideas and put them into practice?
And if you take them home, it's sort of I feel like every elderly person regards anything questioning culture as a touch of disrespect. And how do we move forward when the sources of knowledge and the sources of the whole thing, the main people of the family? Because I know in my family, our elders are the people we go to ask questions to. That's where we consult for anything. If there's anything that needs to be done, we need to talk to them. If I want to marry somebody, I got to talk to all my malumes. So with that, I'm like, how do we talk to them? Is there a certain language?
Yeah, no, that's hard.
When we talk about a family within the African context, in this globalized world, we have to talk about the family in the Western context as well. So in the West, they talk about nuclear family, that is father, mother, and kids. In Africa, we're talking about what Westerners will regard as extended family. So you're talking about father, mother, grandparents, you have cousins, you have uncles, you have aunts as well. However, some people that you'd call cousins in the Western settings, you'd call brothers, you'd call sisters in the African settings. My father's brother, if he's younger, he is my rangwani in Setswana, meaning my younger father. His son is not my cousin, is my brother. His daughter is not my cousin, it's my sister. In the West, it's a cousin. And so that is how an African family looks like.
Teta, nganta kon teta na, ja nga te kwa chakom, le a kwa chakom ya te no mborunga ke chai kanu ta koma chakam. Diri kuya chakom akobene mo mbeng e chashi oroha ho. Acha ti kama tu bacha mo beng enu kwe cham de kulina ho. Ja te diri kuya na ko te jaru ka acha mo ke mo cha ta ko he cham ta ko ma cham ko ma ta ko acha nga te kwa cha te ko ko te no ngano cha ko jing aro. Yisheng etama acha murawa kiti cha ngama he cha ko ko te numboronga cha ko aya cha ana ko ti no ta ko mti kuye ko mako ata ngamti kuye cha ko mako hanu ngana cha ko aro ta ko ku cha komnya te no jere ki cha ko ko te
All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this panel discussion between us as the National Poet Laureate Hub and you guys basically representing the youth. Like you guys know that for the month of August, we sort of had a panel discussion also that's sort of like this, but a whole lot more people. We were trying to discuss issues where we feel as Africans, issues of gender-based violence and xenophobia. Why are they happening so much in the Black communities? We were trying to unpack and understand what is the root of all of this, and then we came to a conclusion that it has a lot to do with how the African family has been deconstructed, or how the African family has been destroyed by things like colonialism, apartheid, and so on. And that's sort of the reason why we are left dangling right now as Africans. We established that a way forward is that we speak to our families, we get together with each of our families and try to speak to them and open up in terms of the tabatari abuse and things like that. So now this is a follow-up panel discussion where we basically want to focus solely on the African primary institution, the African family. What we want to do is we want to focus on that so we can find a clear solution on how it operated back in the day before it was interrupted by colonialism and worked then, and how it's working now, if it is working now. And if it isn't, then what is it that we could do to make it work in a post-colonial sense, focusing on the African family as the cornerstone of every nation and how it supports institutions like hoba a rakgadi, hoba malome, hoba mme, hoba ntate, hoba a child. Understanding family, that it empowers the culture of a certain tribe or of a certain family by providing a lot of skills, like skills such as negotiation. We all have duties in a family to sort one another out in order to have a cohesive community. So yeah, that's basically going to be the topic for today. And that was just a brief introduction of what we're going to be unpacking today. I don't know if Mpho has opening comments on his side. Mpho?
So, in terms of all this, we just keep in mind that this is Heritage Month. So that's why we also want to look at the African family. It's what we know, it's what we have, and it's what we should be trying to make best use of. That being said, leading up till today, we composed a video for you to watch. And basically what that video was, back from 2010 till a little bit past 2016, there's an organization named EIRI, which is focusing very heavily on the African family, and not only that, just African concepts, and they're really trying to explore what it is that Africans need to do to keep striving forward and figuring out new ways. But basically they conducted a number of gatherings where a number of people spoke and gave their point of view on the African family and African concepts. The reason we gave you this video was to kind of inform you of an older generation's kind of idea of the African family and how it's supposed to work, and a few of the examples within it. We gave you the video so that you could kind of just be a little bit prepped for today's discussion, and we're going to be referring to it here and there because it's going to help us really get to the bottom of it. We get their perspective and we get our perspective, and through that we're going to create new ways and new links to moving forward.
Okay. So firstly, I found the video very interesting. It's really interesting to see that how many Africans are actually speaking about the ways of Africa, how we've lost them along the way, how we are trying to get them back in a sense. And my overall views of the video, towards the end, it was very interesting to me to see, or not even just towards the end, the overall discussion, the focus for me personally, how I saw it was mostly on the girl child, the woman, and then how she, in a sense, plays an essential role in this family structure that we speak of, and how, in as much as the male figure is the head of the African home, but it is the girl child that brings everyone together, in a sense. So also that whole thing of neighborly love, how that neighborly love has, in a sense, been lost along the way, how it's no longer what it used to be. Like if we're looking at back in the day and we're thinking of where we are right now, it has lost a lot of its it has lost its form, in a sense, and how life was simpler even back then as compared to now. So then also this whole jump with colonialism also being in the picture, this whole jump as to how do we fill this gap that is now missing? Is it because now we are transforming and we are growing into a new people? But in that growth, how do we bring back that spirit of Ubuntu, that respect, so that it sustains us and it goes with us along the way?
For me, the video spoke about culture, the way in which it was more respected and preserved back then. You know, we've seen how everyone had a role, and how a mother does not specifically mean that it's someone who is biological to you. And we've seen how this I could call them hierarchy, which is now turned into departments. We've seen how they've always been there, just that now, as you know, Africans, we are not so commercial, if I may say. So we are on the spirit of Ubuntu. We believe in helping one another instead of commercializing on anything. And I've seen how these elders are complaining about that our cultures have been filtered. Our identities have been filtered. Africanicity is being lost, and also due to marginalization and also migration to the cities, and how the Westerns came into the picture, and then now they diluted everything. So yeah, that's what I made of the culture, of the video.